Innovation versus regulation, finding the right balance. Have you ever noticed how sometimes well-meaning rules intended to protect us can actually prevent the innovations we need to move forward? Or as they say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Recently, many Silicon Valley entrepreneurs, including Chamath Palihapitiya, Mark Andreessen, and Ben Horowitz, raised concerns about excessive government oversight, particularly as it relates to artificial intelligence. Their worry is simple. Overly strict regulations could unintentionally slow down innovation and limit technological progress. When guidance turns into excessive control, entrepreneurs feel compelled to speak up, not just for their businesses, but for our collective progress. Most government projects start with noble goals, aiming to boost economies, fight inequality, or build vital infrastructure. Yet often, these initiatives become bogged down in bureaucracy, resulting in inefficiency. Take California's high-speed rail project as an example. Initially estimated at $33 billion and slated for completion by 2020, it has now ballooned to $106 billion and delayed until at least 2030. Or consider homelessness in San Francisco. Despite substantial investments, progress remains frustratingly elusive, often due to complex bureaucratic processes rather than lack of funding. Similarly, the US healthcare system consumes over 18% of GDP, yet yields poorer outcomes compared to countries spending significantly less. These examples highlight a critical need for clearer goals, disciplined spending, and genuine accountability. As I mentioned in the previous article, economist Hernando de Soto has done some of the most important work on how complex regulations can choke innovation. In The Mystery of Capital, he highlights how red tape prevents entrepreneurs, especially small business owners, from formally launching companies and accessing essential funding. When the rules are too complicated, only the biggest players survive, as we know, too big to fail. Clearly, simple regulation isn't just better policy, it's a lifeline for everyday innovators. I've also long admired and supported the important work of Philip Howard, founder of the organization Common Good. His work highlights the social costs of overly burdensome rules. Howard argues convincingly that overly complicated regulations not only slow down processes, but actively discourage risk-taking and innovative thinking. He believes regulations should be outcome-oriented and straightforward, rather than overly prescriptive and detailed, allowing room for creative problem-solving. Simplifying rules in this way helps unleash entrepreneurial creativity, a principle that deeply resonates with my belief in purposeful action and clear, meaningful goals. Digital banking, for instance, demonstrates how streamlined regulations can encourage everyday innovation by removing previously cumbersome barriers, making financial transactions faster, simpler, and more accessible for everyone. Furthermore, my good friend Dov Seidman, founder of LRN and author of Why We Do Anything Means Everything, also highlights the pitfalls of excessive rulemaking. Seidman argues that because rules are external and reactive, they often encourage people to look for loopholes rather than genuine ethical solutions. Over-reliance on rules turns individuals into legal technicians who prioritize compliance over innovation, thus limiting truly creative thinking. Instead, Seidman advocates for cultivating internal principles and purpose-driven values, exactly the approach I believe fosters genuine innovation, purposeful progress, and lasting impact. As just one example from my career, I saw firsthand at Chipotle the powerful benefits of clear, flexible guidelines aligned with our core values. Rather than being hampered by prescriptive rules, our team had the freedom to pilot innovative sourcing practices and sustainability initiatives. These efforts reflected our commitment to purposeful leadership and ethical principles, significantly enhancing both business performance and positive community impact. Innovation before regulation, why timing matters. Effective regulation should adapt to innovation, not constrain it prematurely. Consider how the internet was allowed to mature before serious regulations stepped in. Conversely, when authorities initially resisted ride-sharing services, consumer demand quickly made it clear that the rules needed to catch up. Google's rapid advances in AI, spurred by competition with OpenAI, show how market forces often move faster and more effectively than early-stage regulation. Innovation behaves more like jazz than a symphony. It needs structure, but it thrives on improvisation. The best regulations work like frameworks, not rigid checklists, offering just enough clarity to guide, but enough flexibility to inspire. When rules are too prescriptive, they drain energy from the process, turning something bold and vibrant into something flat and forgettable, like elevator music. Too often, regulators assume people will follow protocols like machines, but that's not how humans work. We're curious, collaborative beings, and when given thoughtful guardrails, we tend to rise to the occasion. To meet today's challenges, oversight must be agile, clear, and technologically fluent. Regulators should think more like engineers than enforcers, anticipating change, designing adaptive systems, and stepping in only when needed to prevent real harm. In this environment, the biggest risk isn't the absence of rules, it's clinging to the wrong ones. The most effective systems adapt fast, and in a complex world, that adaptability is what makes them resilient. Better together, how private innovation can transform public services. The real question isn't whether government should exist. It's how government and private enterprise can collaborate effectively. Essential services like courts, police, infrastructure, and healthcare require continuous improvement. Why not leverage entrepreneurial creativity to enhance those services? The defense sector provides a vivid example. Traditional firms like Lockheed Martin have long dominated with their large bureaucratic structures. But recently, agile newcomers like Palantir and Anduril, backed by venture firms such as Andreessen Horowitz, introduced innovations that significantly enhance national security through responsive, cutting-edge technologies. Imagine private businesses offering DMV services with shorter lines and improved technology. Wouldn't we eagerly embrace that innovation? The essential issue isn't whether we need regulation. We absolutely do. But how much is enough? Where should we draw the line? Striking the right balance requires clear, measurable objectives and genuine accountability. We don't need larger bureaucracies. We need smarter ones, equipped with straightforward rules and expectations that empower innovation rather than stifle it. Yet, achieving this equilibrium involves more than technical precision. It's emotional as well. It demands cultivating trust and nurturing purpose-driven values within organizations, ultimately transforming capitalism from a transactional system into a deeply human relational one. In the next article, we'll explore how and why capitalism often succeeds precisely where government falls short, and how market-driven solutions can deliver superior, sustainable results. Can you recall a moment from your own experience when thoughtful oversight enhanced innovation? Or perhaps situations where less regulation and greater trust sparked unexpectedly positive results? I'd love to hear your thoughts. It's an important topic that truly matters. See you.